Uh, Obviously, some of you know Mr. Danny Bay's got he's in Asia right now, and he's got a lot going on. And I just said, hey man, we get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, to do a call. You know, maybe that's a little bit too much. I'll be willing to help out and maybe share some insights today on really right now, like how to take everybody's business to the next level. Okay, I would say that's kind of the main thing I think everybody wants to do right now. Right, everybody right now coming out of the convention, renew commitments. Right, everybody's focused on building to. I know the team leaders right now are like, let's go director, let's go senior director, let's go national director, let's go executive director, let's just run. And there was so many exciting things that happened this weekend, but one of them that I want to talk about real quickly before we get the call kicked off is really the executive director position, right? And I know some of you right now are like, hey, look, I'm a team leader, and I'm focusing in on director, right? I'm focusing in on really trying to master duplication so I can put up some serious numbers and volume, right? So, I know a lot of people, that's where their mind is right now, but in order to really get there, that Friday morning at 7, we had a team leader call with one of my groups, and I was telling that organization, I said, you got to think high to rise, right? You got to think high to rise. You can't think like, I know the directors, you guys were over at Mr. Danny Bay's house, man. It's like, hey, that's insane, right? I mean, like his house was like, oh my God, man. I'm like, dang, dude, you guys must be planning on having some more kids or something, because his house is huge, right? Like, dang. And then, I'm like, people getting lost in that thing. Like, you know what I mean? You got to keep like a tracker on people with Mr. Danny Bay's house. You got to track people. You get some type of a GPS tracker, man. You get lost in that house. I was like, whoa, this is this world, man. But it's like, if your goal is to just basically pay your rent, you know what I mean? You're never going to get a palace like that, right? You got to think big. You got to, I had a chance to work. Danny Bay and I both, had a chance to work with the gentleman that ended up becoming a president. And way before he ever ran, back in those days, he was just basically, as a billionaire. And whether people like him or not, I really could care less. I'm not like a fan or anything like that. But one of the things he said to me when I met him, he said, it takes the same energy to think big as it does to think small. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I go, that's easy for you to say, right? You're a billionaire. But like he wasn't done thinking. Like obviously the dude wasn't done thinking. And it just kind of, in my mind, and I know some of you probably absolutely hate him, but I was like, the dude thought big. I mean, it's obvious, like you don't get to be like a president of a country by not thinking big, right? You got to think big. And I'm like, man, you got to think big, right? And I think, the biggest thing I think with people right now that are team leaders, you look at an executive director position, you think, oh, that's too far, right? Or whatever. But the reality is that you got to first visualize it. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying is imagine right now, like, hey, look, we're in, let's just imagine we're all in California. You know what I mean? At the HQ, right? And we're at the HQ all together, right, in Irvine, California. And we're like, hey, look, you know what? Let's go to New York and drive though, not fly. Okay. Say we don't like flying. So we're just going to drive there. Now, if that seems like a lot, and just being okay with doing that is wild, right? Somebody says, hey, you want to drive to New York? I would be like, no, I'm flying. You know what I mean? Like there's no debate, right? But imagine that we were going to drive there. Okay. Now we all said, okay, let's go. Now, one of the first like stops would be probably what, right? Probably Vegas, right? That's kind of the direction we're headed. And when you get to Vegas, right, you maybe, fill up on some gas or whatever. And you go, okay, cool. This is awesome. Let's go to Utah now, right? Let's go to Salt Lake. And then let's go to, Denver, right? Let's go to Nebraska. And we have these checkpoints along the way that, when you look at a map, you go, okay, you look at it, it's okay, that's where we're going to go. That's where we're going to go. Okay, that's where we're going to eat. That's where we're going to sleep, and as everything goes according to plan, right? So remember, we're in California, we're driving in New York. But if I say, hey, look, you know what, let's go to Vegas. And you're like, all right, let's go to Vegas, man. You don't have to convince me. Let's go, Tim. And we jump in the car and get to Vegas. Then I'm like, hey, look, you know what, let's go to Salt Lake now. You're like, why in the heck would we go to Salt Lake? Right. And I beg you, fire you up, get you all fired up. And you're like, all right, okay. I'll go to Salt Lake. And then I'm like, hey, let's go to Denver. You're gonna be like, what? No, I gotta go home. This sucks. What are you talking about? I'm not trying to drive across America because we didn't start with the end in mind. See, some of you right now, you've got people in your organization that hit team leader, and when they hit team leader, they're just trying to maintain rank. They're not trying to go to Salt Lake, become a director. They're not trying to go to Denver, become a senior director, and maybe go to Nebraska and hit those check marks all the way because they're not committed to going to New York because we really didn't think about it. You got to think big, right? You got to think big. And if you're just thinking about, okay, well, I'll just get somebody's like on your teams, like, okay, I'll just get the team leader. And then I'll decide if I want to go to director. They're not going to make it. You know what I mean? They're not going to make it because they don't have that long-term vision. Nobody in Vegas is going to be like, hey, yeah, let's go to Colorado. And then let's decide whether we want to keep driving or not, right? Because, the idea or concept of New York is just too big for them to think about. You've got to be thinking big, right? You've got to be thinking, okay, look, you know what? I'm going to become an executive director no matter what, because there's only two ways not to become an executive director. Number one is never decide, and number two is to quit along the way. Do you guys see that? Like somebody right now, you're thinking, dude, I'm trying to get 10,000 in volume. You want me to think about 5 million in volume? You're crazy. It's not that at all, right? Just think of it like if you're thinking about 10,000 in volume, right? You might be just talking about trying to fill your car up, right? But if you're thinking about we're driving to Vegas, you're committed. You're like, okay, let's get this car filled up. Let's go. And then California, you start driving it, Riverside, mainly if it's traffic. You're like, man, this is the worst, man. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But it doesn't matter what obstacles or challenges that you encounter along the way. And it's like getting on a call like this or getting on, the team leader call that is coming up the last Wednesday of the month, or the team leader academy and all these things that we've got, these tools to help develop team leaders. If you're looking to say, okay, look, you know what, Tim, I'm going to go executive director. You're jumping on these calls with a different attitude and mindset, right? You're like trying to get all the ideas and information that you can. You're like, man, give me that information, right? Give me some ideas, just a couple ideas that's going to help me along the way. Because I know where I'm going. I'm going to that. I'm going to make it happen. If it takes me 5 years, if it takes me 7 years, if it takes me 10 years, I don't care. I'm going. I'm going to make it happen. It's a thought process. But just think, if your goals are just to survive, if your goals are just to get, your rent paid, you're never going to buy a freaking Danny Bay Palace, right? You're never going to buy a palace like that because you got to think big and you got to expect to win. Right? You got to expect to win. In fact, you got to just know no matter what, that guess what? I'm going to make it happen. It's got to be a mindset, right? It's got to be an attitude. And when you have that attitude and that mindset, it's a different experience because you're like, well, I don't know, man. I'm not really getting the massive results. The massive results come from going there mentally first. Like I was talking to Danny last night and I said, bro, it's like, nobody's going to just wake up one day and be like, oh, damn, dude, look at this $5 million house I just bought. It doesn't happen like that. You know what I mean? It's like, you've got to first visualize it in your mind and be like, this is what's up. This is where we're going. This is what's going to happen. When it starts in your mind, starts in the 6 inches between your left and right ear. And it's the same for everything in life. It's the same for everything, right? How do you get to New York? Right? Not stop in Vegas for 5 days. Right? Going to a casino and lose all your money. Well, I'm going to get gas now, right? I mean, it's like, what's up? you got to be like, all right, this is the goal. This is what we're doing. This is the mission. And the harder the mission, the more fun it is, right? The bigger the goal, the funner it is. The challenge, that's the excitement. So it's like, okay, look, we got to go director because we know where we're going, right? We know where we're going. We're going executive director, right? How do we get there? First thing we got to do is, guess what? Get to Vegas, right? Get to director or get to Colorado or whatever. We got to get to that next level. And sometimes, I promise you, sometimes it's just one rank is the hardest to get to, right? And then you have a breakthrough because mentally you accomplish it. Like some of you hit team leader fast, right? Some of you, it was a challenge. It took years, right? What's the difference? It doesn't matter what the difference is. Now that you're here, once you get there, then director might be easy, right? Or you might go team leader quick, and director might be hard. But once you hit director, now you figured it out, you cracked the code. Now going senior director is fast. Or you might hit senior director fast and national's hard, or whatever it is. You got to realize like it's gonna take it takes like a mindset and an attitude to understand that just because right now, you blew a tire out on the freeway in between Utah and Nebraska or Colorado and Nebraska, and you might be sitting on the side of the road waiting for the truck to come, that AAA, and you're waiting there and it takes forever. Just because that bad experience happened or that challenge happened doesn't mean that that's going to happen every time. When you're going from Nebraska to St. Louis or whatever, you're not going to, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. Sometimes you're going to hit a good pocket and it's just going to run. But once again, if you're not thinking big, if you're not thinking, hey, look, you know what, I'm going to make it happen no matter what. If you're not thinking this is it, like I'm going to get the job done, it's not going to happen. You've got to first see it in your mind's eye. You got to see it it starts with a vision. Right, it starts with an idea, right? It starts with getting a clear picture in your mind and visualizing that. How's it going to feel when you get there, right? How are you going to feel when you walk on stage, right? As an executive director and as a national director and a senior director and a director and all these positions, how's it going to feel? You got to feel that feeling, because that feeling, that emotional connection, that's what's going to drive you over the challenges. You know what I mean? It's like some of you have heard me say the story before. Two people, right, are doing the same job. Right? One guy's laying brick, the other guy's building a castle. They're both doing the same job. They're both finding people to talk to and talking to them, right? The guy that's building the castle, guess what? He's got a different attitude about him. He's got a different aura about him, right? This guy is laying brick like he's having the time of his life because he knows what the end result is. The guy that's just laying brick and he doesn't realize he's building a castle, he's like, dang, dude, that's a lot of bricks, man. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with all these bricks? Why we got so many bricks? We don't need that many bricks. You see what I'm saying? But it's your vision, right? It's your vision of what you're doing, right? And that's really what it comes down to, is like mentally, you've got to get that picture, right? You've got to get that vision in your mind that says, hey, this is where we're going, right? I'm going to make it happen no matter what, over, under, or through. And the harder the challenge, the greater the reward. You know, it's like when watching Karen get promoted last weekend, not like the last weekend, but the last weekend before that, obviously in Vegas. And I was just like, Niagara Falls, man. I had to go up to speak next, and I said, I don't care about going. I'll just walk on stage right out. I got to see this, man. This is what I came for. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I got to speak right after her. It's like, dude, I can't be. I don't want to watch this from the backstage. I want to watch it. I want to see her face. I want to see that feeling, that emotion, because I know of what she had to do it. Right? It was a challenge. You understand? But it was a challenge of thinking. Right? It was a challenge that's really what it comes down to. Is, you know, I'm sure there was nights where she was laying awake saying, can I really do this? Right? Can I make this happen? Or why is it not working for me the way that I want it to? Or whatever the case may be. But there's those feelings. And once you destroy those feelings, right? And you decide that no matter what, I'm going to get the job done. That's why it becomes so emotional, right? That's why you get so fired up and excited, man. So you got to realize maybe some of you are stuck right now at a rank, or you're stuck at a position, or you're stuck at a goal that you have. And you're like, why is this not working? It's like you just gotta keep on keeping on. You gotta stay with it, right? You gotta be committed and just keep on keeping on. But it's not just, you know, doing the work over and over and over again. It's first the vision, right? It's like you think about what I'm saying is like you got to work on the vision, right? You got to work on your vision in your mind of hey, I'm gonna make it happen. It's like you've got to sell yourself that you can do it. And then once you sell yourself, you can do it, right? Then other people will buy in. You know, people are going to be like, damn, they're sold, right? That person knows where they're going. I want to follow them. Some of you are like, man, I have trouble getting my people to call me back. Well, where are you going? Where are you going? If you know where you're going, people are going to want to go along with a journey, right? So get a clear vision. How do you get people to follow you? Well, you can't get people to follow in your footsteps if your feet aren't moving. Think about what I'm saying. You can't get people to follow in your footsteps if your feet aren't moving. You see, like we've got to decide right now that this is whatever it is, man. It's like we all have the opportunity to be able to reach new positions. It's like so fun. Like if just every day you wake up just excited because it's like we're building something. You guys see that? Right now you might be building your director house, right? You're building your director house. And then you're going to build your, you know, your senior director house. Some of your directors, you're building your senior director, right? Some of your senior directors, you're building your national, whatever it is. But what I'm saying is that, guess what? Right? Let's get excited about where we're going, not where we are. That's the magic. People don't care where you are. They care where you're going. It's not a situation where you're like, hey, look, you know what? Once I hit director, man, people are going to follow me. No, no. People are going to follow you once they realize that you're going somewhere. When they can look at you and be like, they're off to the races. They're doing something. They're going somewhere. Like that's the deal. Like running water, man, that's great. It's stagnant water is where all the bad stuff is, right? That's where the mosquitoes are born. I hate mosquitoes. But what I'm saying is that, like, we got to have that clear vision. You got to believe in your vision. You got to know, hey, this is it. I'm going to make it happen no matter what, over, under, through. I'm going to get the job done. And you got to start with the end in mind, right? You start with the end in mind. Because then you're not going to be in Vegas and being like, I don't know if I want to go to Colorado. You get what I'm saying? Or Utah or whatever. So it's like, it's a checkpoint. It's kind of like my mentor taught me, is like when you're climbing a mountain, there's a checkpoint, right? When you're climbing those mountains, like if you're climbing Mount Everest, not that I haven't experienced doing this, right? But from what I understand and what my mentor told me is there's checkpoints along the way. And every checkpoint that you get to when you're climbing Mount Everest, you decide at that point whether you're going to go to the next one or not, next checkpoint or not. And when you get to that next checkpoint, every checkpoint that you go to, it's a little bit harder until you get to that peak. And it's not even it's literally like the last leg of climbing Mount Everest is dang near impossible. So many people, they turn back at that last checkpoint. You got to realize, man, you got to go all the way to the top. They didn't build Mount Everest for no reason. They built it so you could get to the top of it. You see the difference? You got to get to the top of it. Like God was like, hey, I'm gonna put this giant mountain here that nobody's ever gonna climb, and if they do, they're never gonna make it. Like he's like, I'm gonna put this crazy mountain here that very few people are ever gonna accomplish. But anybody that does, they're gonna be telling that story for the rest of their life. Do you guys see what I'm? That's the attitude. So the right now, some of you are on chapter 1 or you're on chapter 2. You're writing that book right now. Like you're the author, right? You're the main character of the story of your life. And right now you're the author and the main character. And it's an autobiography right now that's being written. And that autobiography, like there's never an autobiography written about somebody who was like just chilling. Like that, it was like, all right, it's always about people that did something great, right? I mean, they might write a book about some average person or whatever, but it's not going to be bestseller. You see what I mean? It's like they make these autobiographies about people that are like crushing life, man. It's like they're doing life, right? They're making life happen. And it's always the challenges that make the book interesting. You know what I mean? Like you look at like an Abraham Lincoln. It's like, dude, that dude didn't do anything but fail, like his entire life until he was the president. And when you look at that guy's like his failures, it's like, dang. But that's an interesting book, right? He's revered as the greatest president that we ever had in America, or one of the top 5. I think they put him on like the mountain in North Dakota or wherever that thing is. So the guy's like legit. They put him on like a bill, one of our bills. I don't know which bill's got A on it, but I'm telling you right now, like you're not getting your base on money if you're just goofing around. Like you got to do something, And all those challenges, all those encounters, like you look at Abraham Lincoln's life and all of his defeats. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should look it up sometime about how many times the guy failed. But you got to realize where it started at. It started when he was 7 years old. And when he was 7 years old, he was by his mother's bedside when she died. And the last thing she said to Abraham Lincoln as a kid is, be somebody, Abe. Be somebody, Abe. So I think every time that he wanted to quit, or maybe sometimes he just couldn't get it together. When he was bedridden for like 6 months after, the only person he really ever loved died. And he got defeated and defeated and defeated. And one time I think he was running for one of the positions in office and didn't get even 200 votes. I think it was to be a vice president. He didn't even get 200 votes. Like, dang, dude, like that's your warm market list, dude. Didn't even vote for you, bro. So what I'm saying is like, just think about the challenges that you have to overcome. Because there's this guy named Booker T. Washington, right? He's like one of the best like people back in the days, right? And he said something so dramatic. He said, success is not measured by heights obtained, but obstacles that are overcome. Bang, that's huge. Like when we were on a director call last Wednesday with Mr. Danny Bay, the director academy, and he's telling that story about when he came to America. And I was like, dang, dude, right? I was crying. I was like emotional on that call because when they came to this country, having to deal with negative people, right? People that were mean to him and stuff like that. It's like, yeah. And that's like no thought of, hey, we're going to go back to Korea. You know what I mean? Like we're going to make it happen no matter what. And it was like, hey, dude, that's how that you got to be relentless, man. And it's those challenges that you overcome when it's like, oh my, it's like those hero movies. You know what I mean? Like with a hero movie, somebody's like a hero or whatever, and you're like, oh no, Spider-Man's dead. Wait a second, Spider-Man's not dead. Wait a second, you know what I mean? Spider-Man's alive. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about. Like, it don't work. Like, embrace the challenges. Like sometimes you're going through challenges, man. You're like, dang, but it's like God's not going to give us more than we can deal with. You see that? What I was always told like, hey, whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Can you imagine that? Right? Whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. So we just got to light our hair on fire, you know what I mean? And just go wild, right? Just go give it everything that we got. That's my attitude and mindset is that the only way to get to where you want to go is decide first where you're going. You guys see that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you just start driving in circles around your neighborhood, people would think you're crazy. People are gonna be afraid of it. Like, why does this guy keep driving by my house? You know what I mean? They're like, this dude's gonna be break and entering, right? He's gonna do a little B&E. What is he doing, right? Why is he driving by my house so much? You know what I mean? Because no, I want to do something. I want to go somewhere, but I'm not sure where I want to go. So I'm just gonna drive in circles. Oh, going to director, right? We're going to director. We're going to senior director. We're going to national director. We're gonna go. We're doing it. And I'm telling you, when you get to that point, no matter what, I'm gonna get it done. You get excited. And then what happens is what? Then God's like, do you really want it? Right? Doesn't he do that? Do you really want it? I'm gonna give you some tests. Right? I'm gonna give you a couple tests. And he's gonna push a little bit. Sometimes you're gonna be like, dang. It's kind of like you ever like when you're in a plane, you might feel a little turbulence when you're taking off. When you're going to a higher altitude. That turbulence is you going somewhere. That turbulence is the challenge. Is ooh, now we're talking. We're gonna make. It's like how do you deal with adversity? How do you deal with challenges when God's testing you? What's up? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? How are you operating? You think about Job, like, man, that dude went through it. Had it all, lost it all, and then had it all again, right? And when he had it all again, he gave him a lot, right? So. But we just got to we just got to have that mindset, right? We got to have that attitude. You know what I mean? Because what we can do is what we can do, right? I always tell people, hey, you can control two things, your attitude and your effort. Your attitude and your effort. You're in 100% control of your attitude and you're in 100% control of your effort. Not the guy that cuts you off on the freeway. He's not in control of your attitude. You guys see that? Right? When one of your kids spills something, right, on the rug or whatever, that's not in control of your attitude, right? That's a test to see how you're going to operate. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, you're in control of your attitude and you're in control of your effort. And they all both go together. If you have a great attitude and you're giving 100% effort, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get better results. But if your attitude is not really that good and you're doing a lot of effort, you might be doing more damage. You get what I mean? Like you might be making people upset that would have joined the business because of your attitude, right? So just understand that it's all about attitude. It's all about mindset. It's all about, your thinking, and then it's all about your activity, right? You got to get your attitude. My mentor would always say, give yourself a checkup from the neck up. Right? Give yourself a checkup from the neck up. How's your attitude? Right? And then once your attitude's in the right place, how's your effort? Because those are the two things you can control. Not whether somebody says yes or somebody says no. That's not up to me. Like some of you guys were at my training on Saturday in Vegas. It was like outcomes are a distraction. What you need to do is fall in love with the process that's going to get you the outcome that you want. The outcome will take care of itself, right? You just day by day, inch by inch, right? Inch by inch, yard by yard is when it becomes hard, right? It's just like one step at a time, one day at a time, giving your best. It's like, if you think about, dang, man, for the next 6 months, can I run all out massive action? That seems exhausting. But if you say, can I give my absolute very best today? Right? Can I just give my best today? And then check, and then the next day, can I give my best today? And you just focus in on day to day. Like, what are we going to do today? Like, what are we going to do right now? Right? We got some of the most exciting promotions on the planet. Right? So we know this month's going to be big. I mean, it's wild. They're throwing so much money at everybody. It's unbelievable. So we know that we're going to have an extreme close to the month. All right. We know that. But here's the deal. What about next month when maybe the promotions aren't as high? You can't be addicted to promotions. Do you guys get that? You promote the promotion. Some people promote the promotions that they like. And I'm like, dang, dude, you don't get it. Like, just because I might look, I don't like the makeup personally. I mean, maybe I do. Who knows? I don't know. I've never tried it. You get what I mean? So I can't be like, oh, dude, I don't like the makeup. I might like the Riman makeup. You understand what I'm saying for my own personal self-consumption, but I don't use it, right? Because I don't really use makeup. You know what I mean? I'm not really into that. So, but what I'm saying is that I promote it hard. Why? Because 90% of my organization is women. You know what I mean? Like 90% of the people I talk to are women. So guess what? I'm promoting it. So what I'm telling you is that I promote what we got. That's what I promote. You guys see what I'm saying? I promote what we got. And guess what we got? Whatever we got is perfect. You guys see that? Whatever we got is perfect. Why? Because that's what we got. It's like you guys have heard me say it before on some of these calls where it's like, in my mind, I have the most beautiful wife on the planet. I have the most beautiful kids on the planet. I have the most beautiful car, I have the most beautiful shirt on. Like everything, this is mine. You get what I mean? Whatever is mine is the best for me. We got to feel that way about what we're doing. You got to think that, my group is the best. My team is the best. You can't be like, man, you know what? I wish I had so-and-so on my team. What? They're not on your team. Why would you want them on your team? I don't want people that are not on my team because that ain't going to happen. People that are you get what I mean? You got to love your team. Not that you don't love everybody. I love everybody, but I'm just saying, like, you got to be jacked about who's on your team. This is the best, right? This is the best. See what I mean? When you put your shoes on today, it's like, damn, these are the best shoes ever. Why? Because they're yours. You see what I'm saying? If they're yours, they're the best. Why would you want somebody else's shoes? Now, it doesn't mean, hey, let's go get some new shoes that you're going to love even more. We go get that. What I'm saying is what you got right now is the best. You see what I mean? Like, that's the deal. We've got to fall in love with what we've got. You've got to fall in love with your team. And you've got to be able to visualize them winning. You guys and I know you guys have heard this before in like leadership trainings and stuff, but are you focusing on the strengths or the weaknesses of the people that you're leading? Do you think about what you dislike about them or what you like about them? The only way to develop leaders is to visualize what they are, not visualize, but appreciate, right? Their strengths, right? Don't focus on their weaknesses, because whatever you focus on expands. If I focus on what I like about something, there's going to grow. If I focus on what I dislike, it's going to grow, right? Focus equals expansion, meaning that whatever you focus on is going to expand. So when you're working with people, that's the biggest thing. It's like you guys all know I coach football, right? So I coach these little kids. And the kids that I've been coaching for the last 3 years, right? I was going to be on one team coaching, and then they didn't want some of the kids I've been coaching because they weren't that good. So I said, hey, I'll take the kids that aren't that good, that you guys don't want, right? And I'm going to play that team in 2 weeks. And I'm telling you, we're going to smack them. Because why? It doesn't matter who I got. I'm going to visualize and talk about in my mind what I like about it. And I'm going to get them to be better than the people that might be better than them. Because it's in my mind. It's like whenever Michelangelo created David, right? The greatest sculptor, I think at that time, that part of the world had ever seen. That sculpture, when they revealed it, and he took the sheet off of it, when they revealed it to the world, people were there. And they said, hey, man, how'd you create David? He goes, I didn't create David. And they're like, what? He goes, David was already there. He goes, I just took a slab of marble and I chipped off everything that wasn't him. That's how we got to do it. You got to get a vision of the people that you work with in your mind, of the way that you see them. And if you see people for what they are, they become worse. We know that, right? But if you see somebody for what they could be, right, they'll become what they should be. Girder. You guys all know. I didn't make that one up. I stole that one. Girder. Johan von Gerder. You know what I mean? Anybody's name is Johan. Wolfgang von Gerder. Like, what? Dude, you're destined for something special. It's a big name. So here's what we have to do, okay? We've got to decide right now that we're going, and we got to develop the people that we got while we look for more people that we want. I always tell people, work with what you got while you recruit for what you want, right? So just focus in on getting more recruits, right? Because if you're like, okay, I'm going to be an executive director, I got 6 legs. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's going to be a lot easier if you've got 20 legs running to find 6. You guys see that? You can't just be like, oh, I got to count on these 6 people. It's like they're going to be like, all right, well, we'll make it happen for me. You know, they're going to relax. So think bigger, think high to rise. You know, and I'm going to go over real quickly some promotions, man. But man, I'm so excited today. I love being on these calls with you. I love being on these calls and listening. You know what I mean? Here we go. Here we go. Let's do this, guys. I hope this thing's showing. So look, we all know this is happening right now, okay? Super exciting. Anybody that look at what's happening, right? Anyone who enrolls in August, right, and achieves the rank of senior manager will have the opportunity to be able to get this fast start, right? So here's what it is. Any planner, you get started in the month of August to achieve senior manager within 30 days of enrollment. So what do you think is going to happen at the end of the month? We're going to have a flood of people trying to get a start date of what? August, right? At the end of the month, what are we going to be doing? All right, we're going to be like, man, people that are on the fence, we're going to be like, yo, we got to get you in. We got to get you in now because you got to have a start date in August. You see what I mean? So you can get a $500 bonus. Now, think about this. We promote this, right? We get everybody in. Don't just accept applications. Make sure they're buying products or you're setting them up to guarantee fail. Right? If people aren't buying a kit and they're not buying products and they're just getting started in Riman, you're hurting yourself. I'm gonna be really upfront with you. Like, I don't get people started to just, hey, can I just reserve a position? No, dude, buy some products, try the products, fall over the products, and then guess what? Once you want to buy a kit, let me know. Then I'll get you enrolled. But I'm not just gonna enroll you knowing that you're gonna fail because I'm not getting you products. It's like, that's incredible. I know we don't do that, but at the end of the month, sometimes some of your people will do that, right? They're going to be like, oh, I got to get people started in the month of August. You got to have an August start date. Yeah, but they also have to have a kit, or there's a 0% chance they're going to earn that bonus anyway, right? They're going to go to battle without like going against an army with like just their hand and stuff like that. And then obviously the sponsor gets $200 bonus. So this is big, right? This is huge. And all they got to do is, guess what? Get it done, right? Now, here's the one that's happening right now for all of us, right? And everybody else. This is the unlimited. You got to realize this is the unlimited convention momentum bonus, right? So what it means by unlimited is if you sign up 3 to get 1,000 SP, whatever they sell or buy, right, in the month of August. Somebody gets started in August, whatever they sell or buy in August, bam, you're getting a $500 bonus. Sign up 6 to get 1,000 SP or more. What happens? Bam, you're getting 500 times 2, right? So we can do this unlimited time. So this is an unlimited convention momentum bonus. Okay. So if you've got people right now that are managers that still have that volume that's came in the last few months, we got to get them running for this promotion so we can get them the senior manager. Now, somebody's the senior manager running for team leader. What's the smartest thing they can do? Right? Get this bonus. Right? Get this bonus. Now, if somebody's a team leader running for director, what do you think is the smartest thing they can do? Right, get this bonus, right? If you're a director running for senior, this bonus. If you get this bonus and you get excited about getting this bonus, guess what's going to happen to your team? They're doing the same thing. Right? Look, if you got that mindset that says guarantee no matter what, I'm getting that bonus. You got to be thinking right now, hey, no matter what, I'm getting that bonus. I'm going to get this $500 bonus. What is your team going to do? Because now you're talking to them differently. You're like, man, I'm getting that $1,000 bonus no matter what. They're like, oh, I'm getting that $1,000 bonus too, right? But if you're like, man, we got to get you the bonus. No. Don't focus on trying to get your team to do it. You decide that you're going to do it and let your team know you're going to do it and then go after it. And then guess what will happen? Your team will duplicate. Your team does what you do, not what you say. So right now, all we've got to do is say, hey, look, you know what? I'm getting that bonus, right? You might get it. You get it done. You might sign up 6 people and then guess what? Bam, get them all 1,000, right? Everybody wants to get 1,000. no matter what, right? So if you get people started now and not wait till the end of the month, they have this promotion too. So if you wait until the last 3 days of the month and then enroll 3 people at 1,000, then they only have 3 days to get their three. You see that? So we got this week has got to be all about getting the people in place, right? If you get them started with 1,000 point pack, that's wonderful. You get them started with a smaller pack and we get them running for their 1,000 and recruiting their three. Imagine what can happen. Imagine what would happen if 10 people on your team got this bonus in your open line team leader. Man, your business would be blowing up, right? Because everybody's running for what? Promotions. Now, once again, do not get addicted to promotions. Don't be like, oh, look, I'm just going to do what? I'm going to work hard right now. I'm going to work hard right now because we have these amazing promotions. And then when these promotions are gone, I don't know what I'm going to do. No, you got to fall in love with the opportunity, right? You got to fall in love with your daily method of operation. But along the way, whatever we've got to promote, guess what we do? We promote it, right? We get excited about it. And how do you promote it? You buy in. First thing I did when the convention packs dropped, my wife was, go now, get it now. Like my wife was sitting right next to me. She said, you better get those back. I know better than not to, if they have a convention pack and I don't get it, what? My wife's going to get mad at me. Like I'm going to be sleeping on the couch downstairs, right? I don't want that. So what I'm telling you is that you got to buy in first, right? And then once you buy in, you can sell. Once you buy in and say, man, I'm getting the unlimited convention bonus no matter what, guaranteed, this is it. But what's amazing is what would happen if a brand new person got started? They got 2 of these, meaning that they sponsored 6 people that all got 1,000. Or basically, think about that. That would be 6,000. So that would make them what? Senior manager. So they would get 500 plus another what? 500. That's 1,000. Oh, by the way, they're going to earn this bonus too. That's another what? 500. That's 1,500 right there. And then you add up how much money they would make doing it. We're talking about, man, we can help people that are brand new. So you don't need to get like 1 million people running, right? My mentor told me, says, Tim, until you find somebody that's as committed as you are, you're in a boat with one oar just going in circles. And once you find that other person that's as committed as you, that's when your business takes off. And I remember when that was for me, right? That was I got started in February. In September, I found a runner. Before that, it was just me just going, just straight grinding it out. This is 30 years ago, right? 30 years ago, I signed up February 15th of 1996. And then in September of 1996, I found a runner. And that guy was number 99 on my list of 100. Now watch this. He was the upline when I sponsored him, right? He was Danny Bay's upline when Danny Bay got started in the industry. So if I would have not called number 99 on my list of 100, or maybe I only made a list of 80, there would have never been a Danny Bay. You guys see that? Danny Bay's sponsor was number 99 on my list on February, not his sponsor, but his upline, okay? February 15th of 96, I get started. They tell me, make a list of 100. I make a list of 20. My brother-in-law rips it up, says, come back when you have a list of 100. He goes, I don't want to work with people that aren't serious. He didn't even have a list. He was like, man, I wish I had a sponsor like me, so I was just going to be mean to you. So I'm like, dang, okay, this guy's serious, right? So I came back with a list of 100. He said, all right, now this is not I'm going to call you to see if you're interested list. I'm going to show you the business to see if you, no matter what, join. So he said, these are not contact lists. I'm going to show these people this business no matter what. So my attitude was, I got to show all 100 people on this list of this business no matter what. And that's what I did. I did that until all 100 people on my list saw the business. I was just relentless with those people. Some of the people were like, man, and they wouldn't pick up my phone. I was like, they were dodging me. And then finally, bam, right? But what I'm telling you is that you never know who's on your list. That guy ended up becoming a runner with me, ended up becoming, wealthy with me in network marketing. And then he ended up basically, sponsoring the guy who sponsored the guy, 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 sponsored Danny Bay. But what I'm telling you is what? You got to reach out to those people. What if I never called that guy, right? He's 99. He wasn't the first guy I called. I went in order, went down the list, called them all. But what I'm saying is that you never know. That's why we want to start sponsoring people right now like never before. There's never been a better time right now to get people started than there is right now. Okay, we got new products about the launch, and then we got even more about the launch. Biggest thing is what? We're within that 6 month period, right? What's the 6 month period I'm talking about? Black Friday, right? So Black Friday is basically November, but it's also the 5 months before. You see that? It's the 5 months before. Because November, we know what happens on Black Friday, right? We have go crazy. So November is going to be the biggest month of the year. It always is, right? So then you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months before that. That's your 6 month run. Now, obviously, we all know that we're in August. August, September, October. Then we got November, right? So August, September, October, November. Then we're going to be able to count December too, and January. That's also what? 6 months. This is your director game plan. Your director game plan is Black Friday is not a week, and Black Friday is not a month. Black Friday is basically 5 months before and 5 months after. You see that? Okay. Basically, the 5 months before and the 5 months after, because the 5 months before November all count towards your 6 months, and then November, December, January, and guess what? The 5 months after. Do you guys see what's happening? So you're talking about 11, right? Out of the 12 months includes November. So we're in that sweet spot. We are in that jackpot city. We're in that money zone. Okay, we're in that money zone. So what does that mean? We got to give it everything we got in August. Close this month out as big as possible, right? And then guess what? We got to hit the ground running in September and push hard to October, and then bam, in November, all those months are going to combine together, plus the 2 months before. See that? Right? So June, July, August, September, October, November. That's Black Friday run, right? And then afterwards, November, December, January, February, March, April. That's Black Friday run. So we're running. This is it. Like, this is our time right now to make it happen. And this bonus is going to help us do that, because it's going to help us find a bunch of random people. And remember, this bonus is stacking on. And remember, this is for US, Canada, Mexico, Chile, Peru, Colombia, Italy, Spain, United Kingdom, Ireland. Okay, that's what's going on, right? And also, I believe Costa Rica too, right? Because I don't know, I just not on there. Probably, I'm pretty confident. This one's for what? All North America, Latin America, and Europe markets. See how smart this is? This right here is for everybody, right? In Europe, Latin America, North America. You got to be taking advantage of this right now like never before. So I just wanted to talk about the things right now that are in the present moment, and help you understand like how you take advantage of these things. Is you realize that November is going to be the biggest month of the year. It always is, right? You don't want to wait till November to catch momentum. You want to be running, right? We're leading up to it, right? So we want to be going hard now. So whenever November hits, bam, right? We're rank advancing, right? You're talking about the 5 months before for your for your people that you want to be team leaders, right? So if you're talking about, what is it? July, August, September, October, November, those 5 months, that's team leader zone. You guys see that? And you got to make sure people realize that, because somebody's going to go, whoa, why was November so big? It's because we had Black Friday. Like, so it's like, we just got to realize right now, this moment in time, it'll never be recreated again, right? This will never be duplicated again. And this is the time to run, because whatever we do right now is going to be added to what? September, October, November. You see that? Like, no matter what, unless we're trying to be a senior manager. I don't think about this call trying to be a senior manager. You see what I mean? September, October, November would be for senior managers, right? To hit senior manager, those 3 months. But it's that you just got to know that like November is going to be out of the world, right? It always is. Like Black Friday is always absolutely out of this world. And plus in November, we got all those new products coming. What? So it's going to be wild. Like November is going to be absolutely wild. But how do we capture it? It's the months leading up to it. Okay. And it's deciding right now that this is it. Right? It's deciding right now that we're going to make it happen. Saying, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to make it happen no matter what. I'm going to step up. I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to create a team leader. You got to be like, I like to run with people, because my mentor told me this. He said, if you help everybody else get what they want, you're going to get everything that you want. You see that? All I focus in on is what? Getting basically new people to senior manager, right? And teaching senior managers to do the same thing so they can create team leader and then create a bunch of team leaders. Keep doing that over and over and over again, and guess what happens? You're a director. You're a senior. The difference is more senior manager. What is the difference between executive director and senior manager? It's more, it all is, it's not even, it's like, oh, it's just more senior managers. I never look at a position like that and be like, oh, that's unreachable. Well, it's all senior managers, man. What do you mean it's unreachable? You can't create a senior manager? What are we talking about? We're senior manager factory, right? We're a senior manager factory. You see what I mean? Like this is where senior managers are born. We're just you imagine like you go to a factory, you're like, dang, that's a bad. And you know how those factories sometimes they have like those little towers and there's smoke coming out of it, right? You're like, what is that? Right? It seems like something's going on over there. And you walk into that factory, they're just playing senior manager. You know what I mean? People are jumping in, they're taking people, and then they jump in and they come out the other side of the conveyor belt as the senior manager. Planners go in, senior managers pop out. What? That's what we are. We're the factory. Person walks into the factory, comes in one door, comes out the other door as a senior manager. You see what I mean? Because they came in contact with us, and guess what? I'm going to make your life better, right? Everybody that comes in contact with us, what happens to them? We're the best day. We're the best part of their day. You know what I mean? They're like, oh my God, I just got a call from you. Because they know, right? Your job and your focus is to help them get what they want. So if you focus on helping everybody get what they want, you automatically get what you want. So let's focus in right now on doing what? Going to battle for our people. That's good. Going to war for our people. I like that. You guys see that? Like, let's do it. Let's give it everything that we got so we can help our people win big. I'm telling you, man, when you see your people walk on stage as team leader, you see your people walk on stage as director, it's like, ooh, yeah, I love that, right? And I mean, I see anybody, I don't care who it is. Let's see a director up there. I'm like, oh God, I love it. I just love to see people win, man. You know what I mean? Like when God's blessing my neighbor, I'm like, man, guess who's in the neighborhood? You know what I mean? Like, who's God? You know what I mean? So I'm getting excited right now. All we got to do, let's decide right now, this is it, right? Let's run like we've never ran before. Promise you. Or don't. That's another option. Because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. If you want a different result, you got to do something different. You know, I think it was Einstein said insanity is doing the same thing in the same way, expecting a different outcome. Let's step out of our comfort zone. You guys see that? We operate, wherever we operate, that's our comfort zone. Where's your ceiling at on your comfort zone? That's called your self-imposed limitation. You see that? If you got this comfort zone right here, that's your self-imposed limitation. How do you press outside of that comfort zone? How do you press it outside of, how do you get out of that comfort zone? Super simple. Super simple. We got to get outside of our self-imposed limitations. What limitations have you put on yourself? What's a lot? What's a lot of calls? What's a lot of pop-ups for you? Like, what's a little amount? What's a lot amount? What's a lot of talking to people? Think about what I'm saying. What's a lot? Like when you're like, man, I talked to a lot of people today. I'm telling you right now, that's not the same number for everybody on this call. You see that? I did so many meetings today. Really? Oh, that was a lot. Imagine doubling that. Whoa, right? Or double the amount of people that you talk to. How do you double the amount of people you talk to? Just invite more people to when you're talking. Dude, if I'm doing a call for one person or I'm doing a call for 10 people, I'm still doing a Zoom, right? If I'm doing a K pop-up for 3 people, I'm doing a K pop-up for 13 people, it's still the same pop-up. To me, spending an hour, you know what I mean? Talking to people, right? Maybe an hour and 15, right? Opening them up, chilling with them, and then starting the pop-up and then closing, right? Maybe hanging out afterwards, making sure everybody gets their applications filled out, but it's still the same time frame. The amount of people that are there are based upon what? What is it based upon? You see what I mean? It's what I'm asking people to get there. Like you can do it, right? We got to get people to be able to believe that they can do more. We got to get people to believe that they can make it happen. How do we do that, right? We have to think about what I'm saying. You can't inject confidence into other people. Injecting confidence into other people is like spraying perfume on somebody. You spray perfume on somebody, you're not going to smell worse. You're only going to smell better, right? You inject confidence into people, and guess what's going to happen? Your confidence is going to go up. So let's make a commitment in our mind and our heart right now that says, this is it. This is my time to make it happen. This is my time to win big. I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to New York, right? That's got to be our attitude, right? I'm not stopping in Vegas. I'm not going to get to Barstow and turn around. You see what I mean? I'm going, right? And then I'm going to Colorado. Then I'm going to Utah and Colorado, Nebraska, St. Louis. I'm going to go all the way to what? Boom, right? You know, I might go up to Chicago, right? I might just go up to Chicago and go right there on that expressway. I'm getting to New York over, under, through. You see what I'm doing? Over, under, through. I'm going executive director no matter what. I'm telling you, you can do it. Why? Because it's just senior managers, man. It's just senior managers. What's the difference? It's just more senior managers. You know what I mean? You look at the top production, you're like, oh my God, how did that person do, you know, as a team leader, 100,000 in volume? They just created 10 times the senior managers you did for the month. Because we're allowed to create as many senior managers as we want. How about that? There's no restriction on how many people we can help. There's no restriction on how many people we can help win. So let's maximize, right? Let's find somebody that's not a senior manager right now, freak out. Oh my God, you're not senior manager. Like, it's like, think of it like as imagine you're feeding a starving person. Think about that, right? Or think about that. Somebody's starving and you show up with, you know what I mean? Bam, what is that? I know it's good. And it's like, whoa, they're going to eat it, right? Because I'm feeding the homeless, right? What does that mean? You see what I mean? I'm finding planners, and guess what I'm doing? I'm making them senior managers. You see what I mean? And then I'm just going to copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, control C, control V, control C, control V. That's all we got to do. So what would happen if we decided right now, this is it? This is my time to make it happen. My time to get the job done. Over, under, or through, I'm going to win. I'm going to close this month out stronger than I've ever closed any month out before. I'm going to run like I've never ran before, right? I'm going to take advantage of these promotions, and I'm going to build for Black Friday, right? I'm building for November now because I know all this volume is going to be added to that crazy month. So this is the time right now to run. This is the time right now to decide I'm giving it everything that I got. I'm going all in. I'm giving it everything that I got. Nothing can stop me, right? Nothing can get in my way. This is my time. This is my chance. That's got to be your mindset right now. This is my opportunity right now to transform my family tree forever, to be able to do something special, to be able to do something great, to be a part of something great, to be a part of a community of people that care and love one another and want to see everybody win. This is our time, right? This is our chance. But we got to decide right now, we're not just going to be in the right place at the right time. My mentor said, Tim, you can't be on the right track for too long, because if you just stand there, you're going to get ran over, right? You're on the right track, but you got to run. You still got to do your part. This is our time to do our part. This moment will never be recreated again. So let's look in the mirror today and say, hey, you got this. This is hey, I believe in you. Look in the mirror and be like, man, I believe in you. I believe in you. Man, I see somebody right there that's a winner. It's about to make it happen. You see that? And then let's run like we've never ran before and give it everything we got. I'm telling you right now, George Halas said it, right? The guy that started the Chicago Bears, and I'm not a Bears fan. I know some of you guys live in Chicago, so I'm not going to I'm not going to talk about the Bears. But what I'm saying is George Halas once said, nobody that ever gave their best regretted it. Nobody that ever gave their best regretted it. Let's give it our best. Let's give it our best. Because all you can do, right, is all you can do. So let's see what we can do. Let's lock arms right now. Let's find somebody that's not a senior manager and hit the panic button on ourselves and be like, senior manager. And we just start cranking senior managers like never before. Let's find people and help them win. How do we do that? We know where we're going, right? We're going to the top. We've already made a commitment. We've already made a decision. So with that being said, I love you. I appreciate you guys. I can't wait to be on next Monday's call because it's going to be fun. Have a great week. Have a great month. We're going to close this month.